What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jimmy Talks. I promised you all a video about seed oils a while back, and it's taken me a while to make it, but I finally gotten to it. And also, don't want to talk about just seed oils because that's just one part of the problem. I want to try and connect them to the bigger picture of what's happening to people with all the other shit that's in their food and how it's kind of made everyone a soylent addicted, low T freak. And I mean, really, this is just the reality of what our food has turned into, and it wasn't always like this before. And if you don't believe me, you can just look around. You can look at the NPCs and bots, and they're just background characters. And we laugh at them and we ridicule them, and some of them have weak ideas, and they're processed thoughts, and some of them have a sheer inability to grapple with reality. But what if their weakness isn't just spiritual, or maybe it's not just totally mental? What if it's not just a lack of good ideas? What if it's actually being caused by chemicals? Like chemical castration to the brain, one could say. It's a lockdown. It's got shackles, it's chains, it's on the brain, and its inner engines are running off of goy slop. What if actually the confusion and the passive nature they all have, and the agreeableness and the lack of vitality to want to change things, the mental fog, what if it's actually being served to them directly on a plate? For decades now, we've watched the West descend into madness. We've analyzed the cultural Marxism, the broken families, destruction of the nuclear family, rising trend of gay and transgenderism, corrosive media, the blah, 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 this, that, and the other. The Great Replacement, all that stuff. We've all talked about this. Those are software viruses attacking the soul of our people. But I want to talk about the hardware in the food we're eating. Think of the computer as a comparison to the human. The physical machine itself is the human body. And I want to expose the primary poisons that are deliberately engineered into our food supply that would cripple the machine or the computer, and it ruins the GPU or the ability of critical thinking. And it also creates a population of sick, weak, docile people. They're human bots. They don't have any original thoughts, and they're incapable of resisting their own destruction with how addictive the food is. Also, before I even start, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is actual nutritional science. They are chemically castrating Western civilization with food. Now, the first poison I want to enlighten everybody about, but a lot of you probably already know about this. But anyways, the first one would be soy. And it's not the kind of soy that you would have at like a Chinese, Japanese restaurant, like miso soup. That's actually a different food. What I am talking about, though, is unfermented, ultra-processed soy protein isolate. If you've read any of the food nutrition labels on all the foods that you get, I guarantee you see a lot of that soy protein isolate. This is an industrial byproduct, and it's a cheap filler protein that's put into pretty much every air quote health food, which, by the way, health foods and a lot of that stuff, a lot of it's marketing, and a lot of stuff that's packaged for health foods is usually just that. It's a shitty marketing gimmick. But anyways, it's in the protein bars, shakes, fake meat products. This is where you're going to find a lot of this soy protein isolate. Stuff like veggie burgers, Impossible burgers. This is a big cornerstone of like the vegan and vegetarian food, stuff like that. That, they want to eat natural. They don't want to eat animals, but they're eating a lot of chemicals at the same time, unfortunately. So it's actually working against them. And a lot of that soy protein isolate, it is poison for men. Soy is loaded with compounds called phytoestrogens, specifically isoflavones like genistein. Phyto means plant. Estrogen means the primary female sex hormone. These plant compounds are xenoestrogens, which means they are close enough in structure to human estrogen that they can bind to estrogen receptors in your body. So basically, when a man consumes soy, he is introducing a potent foreign estrogen mimicking chemical into his endocrine system. The endocrine system controls your hormones, which is testosterone. So the result of this is extremely well documented. The science is clear, and it's also undeniable. Studies have consistently shown that soy consumption lowers testosterone levels and increases estrogen levels in men. Studies have shown that people eating the soy protein isolate have lower testosterone levels. Other studies show that consuming just 56 grams of soy protein daily for 28 days in a row saw a 19% drop in testosterone levels in men. So this isn't really subtle. Next time, I want you to do something. Next time you go to the grocery store and you pick out your little snack or whatever you like to eat, look at the back, look at the label, see what it says. Because this is not subtle. We're witnessing a mass chemical feminization. Lower testosterone means less muscle mass. It means less drive, less vitality to want to fix things, less competitive spirit, less aggression, less ambition, less of the very vitality that builds civilizations. A high soy diet creates a passive, complacent man. It goes against their natural testosterone levels, their spiritual sense as a man. A man who would lack the fire to lead a family, to build a business, defend a border, or to oppose tyranny. They start becoming spectators in their own lives, and they're docile, they get easier to control. Now, I'm not saying it's that crazy. It kind of is, but it also kind of isn't. When you cut this food out, though, you would see a huge difference in men overall. So avoid this bullshit soy stuff. You should be reading the labels of all the food you buy. You should be eating meats, veggies, fruits, and grains. Basically, stuff that doesn't need an ingredient list on the back, because you already know what it is. A steak is a steak. It comes from a cow. An apple is an apple. Stuff like that. I allow myself personally to spend more on quality foods in my budget because that shit is more important than you think. Now, when I eat fast food, I feel like garbage noticeably more than when I constantly consumed the toxic sludge. Your body hates this shit. Anyways, the next big one, the one that this video title is on, seed oils. This is the one that I promised specifically. If soy attacks your hormones and test levels, seed oils attack your entire cellular structure. We can start to see, by the end of this video, you're going to see how all this food together just creates a disgustingly unhealthy person. And a lot of people, it's not even really their fault. You could say, well, it is because they don't know about it. But a lot of this food, it's in almost all the food that we eat. So, anyways, seed oil, this is not traditional fats. Your great-grandfather probably didn't eat this stuff. All right, it started to get popular on the boomer times in World War II when they used it for motor oil. But anyways, seed oil specifically, what I'm talking about is stuff like this. You see it in the grocery store all the time. Canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, These are industrial inventions. They are extracted from seeds, and they use this high heat mechanism. These people called food scientists make it. You need to really do all that. But anyways, they use chemicals like hexane, bleaching agents. They're literally industrial lubricants and fuel oils, and they're rebranded as heart healthy cooking oils. Let me say it again. Industrial lubricant and motor oil. Apparently that's good for your heart, right? Yeah, it's not. Seed oils used to be an emergency lubricant and oil for vehicles during World War II when there was oil rations. It literally used to be used as an emergency motor oil, and now everyone and their mother is eating it. It's everywhere. When I say it's everywhere, do not let me downplay this. Don't allow yourself to downplay this. It's in all of the foods, in all of the restaurants, deep fry, everything in it, because it's so cheap compared to tallow or olive oil. And it's cheap because it's a government subsidized plant where the seeds come from to even make the oil. So it's a huge abundance, a huge supply, and it's also why it's in all the foods. It's a chemical binding agent. So the problem with seed oils is their chemical structure. They are polyunsaturated fats. These molecules are highly unstable. When you heat up seed oils, like when you're frying French fries, when you're using this oil and you heat it up, they oxidize and they become rancid. And when you eat them, they create a bunch of oxidative stress in your cells, and these cells run your body. When they're under stress, This leads to inflammation. This means that the muscles are getting bigger, the cells are getting bigger. Everything it's inflamed, and it doesn't need to be. There's healthy and natural inflammation, and then there is unnecessary introduction of inflammation in the body. One could say inflammation's never good, but you do get this naturally, say after you break a bone or something. This is just introducing unnecessary stuff you don't need. This is not a minor issue. This is a state of constant body-wide inflammation. So, studies have shown that high linoleic acid consumption, which is the primary fat in seed oils, to increase rates of chronic inflammatory diseases. It makes you inflamed, and now you have an inflammatory disease. Crazy how that works. It also has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, inflammatory bowel disease, all this stuff that could be avoided. These studies are even showing that the omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acid ratio in the modern diet, which everybody alive and what we eat today, probably the past 30, 40 years at this point, which is driven by seed oils, is now estimated to be 20 to 1. Our ancestors consumed a ratio of 1 to 1 or 2 to 1. So it's an extreme imbalance, and it's a proven driver of the systemic inflammation medical disease problems in our society. Now, I know when I'm explaining this to you, you may ask yourself, what does chronic inflammation feel like? I don't even know what that means. So I'll put it this way. It's akin to brain fog, depression, anxiety, achy joints, low energy. People get autoimmune disorders from that. It's a body that's constantly fighting itself, and it has no energy left for clear thoughts, decisive action. You're always tired. So a brain that's inflamed cannot think critically. It can't discern the truth from lies. It's prone to emotional outbursts, fear, confusion. It accepts the simplest, most emotionally charged narrative that whatever the elites want to push on you. It's exactly what the media serves up 24/7, and it just accepts all that. It is the perfect biological state for creating an easier to control population. Now, I'm not saying that seed oils were made with the specific intent of making people docile. It was made because it's cheaper than tallow and olive oil, and companies want to save money. That's ultimately the bottom line. So they use seed oils. What I am saying, though, is that this perfect combination of constant inflammation and ingesting soy is kind of just like the ultimate coincidence of a docile population, which benefits the elites in charge. Now, for the next big thing that's in all of our foods, and guys, for the sake of YouTube, I could get way deeper into this, way more in depth, but I just kind of want to give you the overlay, the quick introduction, and you can look into it yourself. I'll recommend you a book at the end of this. But anyways, let's get on to the next one. Sugar, processed carbs, and artificial flavors. This is the most obvious one that a lot of people know about. It's coming into light lately. Yet it is the most addictive. Everybody knows sugar's bad for you. But do they know how bad it is when it's also combined with processed carbs and artificial flavors? So what exactly am I talking about? Think of stuff like potato chips and pop. But it's also not obvious at the same time. That stuff's obviously bad for you. Specifically referring to artificial flavors. It's put in a lot of stuff very sneakily. Food labels will hide this shit with the wording as natural flavors, which is just a hidden code for artificial flavor sometimes. Not all the time, but don't trust this stuff. Always read the ingredients. For example, if you buy French fries, it should say potato, and that's it. Let's put it this way as well, if you're a stats guy. The average American now consumes over 130 pounds of sugar per year, which is a 4,000% increase from 200 years ago. Go look at a picture of any historical figure or even just Google, 1800s town. And everybody was a lot more skinnier back then. Of course, there's different reasons for this. There's a bunch of different reasons. But one of those legitimate reasons are these artificial flavors. They weren't around. The seed oils, they weren't around. But anyways, all this sugar is a dopamine replacement. It's tricking your taste buds. So these foods are engineered. Yes, your food is engineered. Does that just sound right to you? Anyways, it's engineered in a lab by food scientists with thousands of chemical compounds that you'd never have in your kitchen. to be hyper palatable, meaning it's stimulating as fuck to your dopamine sensors to override your body's natural signals of fullness to create a cycle of addiction. That's why they say you can't just eat one potato chip. It's too good. Your dopamine receptors love it. For example, if you're craving something sweet, you may actually be nutrient lacking. You might want vitamin C, like an apple, something sweet. Fruits are sweet. But you will confuse this with ice cream or a chocolate bar. You'll eat the ice cream, but you'll crave more and more because you didn't actually get vitamin C. You just ate sugary bullshit. But the sugar made you feel good because of the dopamine hit. Now we've got a classic case of overeating. I hope it's starting to make sense now when I explain it like that. It's a vicious cycle. Another example here. Let's say you eat a donut. Let's say you drink a pop. Your blood sugar then skyrockets. It gets high temporarily. You'll get a brief hit of energy and dopamine, which makes you feel all good inside. Then your pancreas releases insulin to manage the sudden large sugar load, and your blood sugar crashes. Now you're going to feel tired. You're going to feel irritable, hungry, depressed. So what do you reach for? Another hit of sugar. It's a vicious cycle. This cycle is not bad just for your weight. It's terrible for your mental state as well. It creates volatility in your emotions. You might start acting out, acting a little bit different, a little bit erratic. Mood swings, inability to focus, an addiction to quick, easy dopamine fixes, which is these foods are. A person on this roller coaster of emotions lacks a stable and steady energy that's required for deep work, long-term planning, discipline. They are reactive, they are not proactive. Easily manipulated by your cravings. They are almost, you could say, a slave to the product. Now that we've gone over these three things, soy, artificial flavors, seed oils, the excessive sugar consumption, ultra-processed foods, let's connect all the dots when we combine all this shitty goy slop together. Imagine the diet of the modern NPC. A vegan Impossible Burger made of soy protein isolate, fried in canola oil, on a refined white bread bun, which is basically just sugar, with a side of fries fried in seed oils and a large soda, which is liquid sugar. What does this create? What does this meal make out of somebody? The soy makes a man with lower testosterone levels. This man has less drive. He has less agency over himself. The seed oils start inflammation in your body, makes you feel like crap. He has brain fog now, and he has an irritable mood, and maybe even a couple hours of temporary depression. The sugar and the artificial flavors starts adding in the impulsive actions, the volatile energy, an addiction to more sugars as well by tricking your taste buds. You have an inability to focus because you're thinking about food, your next hit so much. You have created a biological entity that is not only physically weak, but they're also mentally clouded. They're also emotionally unstable, and they're also spiritually passive. This person does not have the vitality to build a family. It does not have the mental clarity to see through propaganda. It does not have the emotional stability to stand firm under pressure. It does not have the will to resist the evil forces that attack us relentlessly and daily. This person will consume what it is told to consume. You must take the shot. It's safe and effective. Trust me, don't think about it with all your brain fog. Oh, you're fat now. Take Ozempic and destroy your kidneys. This person will just believe what it is told to believe. This person will regurgitate the talking points it is fed. This person will virtue signal for social credit. This person will watch quietly as the world is dismantled underneath them. It's the perfect subject for weakening someone down. And here's the thing with all this. When I say all this, the truth of the matter is this isn't necessarily a conspiracy that was made in a shadowy room by elites. It just happened because of profit models. A sick, weak, docile population is the most profitable population imaginable. Plus, this stuff's a lot cheaper and they want you addicted to it, so you keep buying it. The seed oil, that's all cheaper because of subsidies. The artificial flavors that mimic flavors of other food that's good for you, that's hyper palatable like Doritos, they make it addictive on purpose. They want to make you a lifelong customer. And, also, you will become a lifelong customer of the pharmaceutical industry as well. And they will be treating the symptoms of a poor diet. The diabetes medication, antidepressants, the statins, acid reflux pills, they are compliant workers who won't rock the boat or demand higher pay because they lack the energy, they lack the confidence. You will be slaved by the food that you eat, and also you will be slaved by the pharmaceuticals after because of the food that you eat. This is passive consuming of endless entertainment and ultra processed food. It's because people lack the vitality for anything else. The system isn't just making you sick. It's also monetizing your sickness and your weakness. It's the perfect engine for just making a couple fat cats really rich. There is some good news, though. Compared to all this doom and gloom I just said, there is still good news. You can avoid this stuff if you want to, and you can reprogram your body. You can, instead, choose a diet that builds a strong, healthy, intelligent man or woman. It is simple. It's that simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. The answer is to eat real food. That's it. If it grew in the ground or it walked on the earth, swam in the sea, or flew in the air, then eat it. If it comes in a package with a long nutrition label filled with words you can't pronounce, even if it's marketed as healthy, don't believe what's on the box. It's like it's got a heart on it and some guy playing a sport, or like some shitty graphic with some shitty cartoon on it. Don't believe it. Turn the box around and read what's in it. That's what's going to tell you the truth. They legally have to tell you. If it has a bunch of crap on there with long words that you wouldn't have in your kitchen and you can't pronounce half the words, just put it back on the shelf. Your great-grandparents would recognize the food you eat. If they wouldn't, you probably shouldn't be eating it. When you're forced to buy something packaged, read the label. If you see soybean oil, canola oil, corn oil, vegetable oil, put it back. If you see soy protein isolate or soy lecithin, put it back. If sugar is one of the first 3 ingredients, put it back. The simple act of reading is kind of like an act of defiance. You are choosing not to be a mindless consumer and to take your health back. And also, don't get it twisted. This isn't a diet, so to say. This is really a return to normalcy. It's also a political act of defiance. It is reclaiming your own biological sovereignty over your own body and to honor God. Within weeks of making this change, I promise you, you're going to feel the difference. The brain fog will lift. Your energy will stabilize. Your mood will improve. Your physical strength will increase. You'll think more clearly than you ever have before. So I don't drink. I don't smoke anything. I eat good. And I feel great. You'll have the vitality to not just see the world collapse, but to build a new one in its place. That's what we need. We need builders, and we need strong men ready to make shit happen, taking care of business. Stop consuming the slop that makes you weak and docile. I'm asking you to. Challenge yourself. I'm asking you. Next time you go to the grocery store, hey, I remember seeing this video from this guy who I don't know, and he's really only a part of my life whenever I watch a YouTube video real quickly. But this guy, he genuinely wants me to be healthier. He wants America to be healthier again. Remember this video. Just try it. Just eat real food that will give you strength and clarity. Just try it for a day. I won't even say a week because that might be too much for you. And if it is, that's okay. All right? I'm not going to be a douchebag about it. Just try it for a day. Try it for 24 hours. Just try and only eat real food. Then after that, try it for 48 hours. Try another day after that. Just take it one day at a time. Take it one meal at a time. Right? If you put your mind to it, you can do it. And I want you to. I seriously do. I'm just a normal ass dude. Right? I don't have anything to sell you. I just want you to eat real food and be healthy. You know, and it is tough. I grew up eating this shit too. It's still not even really talked about all the time. You know, if you talk about this with normal people, they'll assume you're kind of weird. You know? And that's okay. I don't care about that. What I'm trying to emphasize is that people don't commonly do this. You'll notice when you start doing this, you'll start to notice just how major the problem is with fake food and the reality of it. Eat real food that you can easily make in your kitchen with everyday groceries. A good rule of thumb too, by the way, from me, stick to the outside sections of the grocery store. The stuff in the middle tends to be bad. Not all of it, of course. You've got your olive oils in there, but a lot of it is. All right, guys. For the sake of a YouTube video, again, I definitely didn't dive deep into everything that is seriously wrong with our food system, but I wanted to provide this condensed version, the surface level video, just to open your eyes and plant the seed. No pun intended. If you're still interested, here's the book recommendations. I heavily recommend checking out the books Ultra Processed People and The Dorito Effect. It is genuinely mind-opening how fucked up our food is. They are seriously eye-opening books. So, all right, guys, that's all for today. God bless you all and your families. Seriously, you love to see it. And here is to a fruitful, no pun intended, and charitable life. I want you to try and challenge yourself. Eat healthy. America first and always. God bless you all. Jimmy Talks out.